Welcome back, everybody. My name is BluJay, and we are back once again on the Unity SMP, ready for another episode today. If you saw a couple episodes ago, we built our first store, and in that store we are selling lumber and tools and anything wood related that you can think of. Now, one thing that's going to be difficult about having that kind of a shop is keeping it stocked, because we don't have a consistent source of lumber supplies. So the solution for that is what we're going to be working on today. If you see behind us, this was our first redstone project, the auto smelter, and the second redstone project that we are going to work on is today's episode, the redstone tree farm. So let's stop chatting about it and we'll get to building right now. So here's what I'm thinking for the location of our tree farm. We're not going to put it inside because we need room for the trees to grow, and there's definitely not room for that. So let me hop on out here really quick, and we'll run up on top of this hill, and I want to show you something. This is where I've been kind of growing my trees anyway for any kind of lumber that I need, is this wide open area right here, and I don't think anybody has claim to it, especially because there's nobody really around here. JackFrostMiner is up over that hill, and Dallas is up on top of that one, and everybody else is out kind of that direction. So I think we're pretty safe building back here, and I don't think we really need to run that by anybody, but here's what I'm thinking. I had an idea from a couple of my subscribers. I don't remember the names of the people that suggested this, so I apologize about that, but a couple of people suggested that maybe out of the side of the stump here, or out of the top even, we could put some branches. And what I'm thinking is one of these branches could come out this direction and be like another opening, another entrance to our log area, and it would lead out into this open field where we would have our redstone tree farm. So let me go down here, and here's where we're going to cut it out, I think. We need to be careful with this because I don't want to ruin this landscaping or terraforming or whatever you want to call this on the inside of the log that I already did, because I'm really happy with it. I've got some ideas of something I might do with it later, but that's for another episode. What I'm thinking is we will just go up as close as we can, probably right here, and punch this out. And now I already know there's this hill behind here, but we can take care of that. We can terraform, we can reshape the hill, and we can push it back if we want to. So that's what we're probably going to do. I'm just going to go ahead and dig all of this out, and here in just a couple of minutes after I've got this cleared out, we will start building the entranceway, or the exit way, whichever you want to look at it, whichever way you want to look at it. We'll do that, and then we'll get going on the redstone tree farm out here. I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got a little bit of a progress update for you guys, and here it is. So I've gone ahead and done the exit on the inside of the log out to the area that we're going to do our tree farm, and let me show you this real quick too. This is the little pathway where we're going to shape our log around. Again, I don't know what I'm going to do with the interior of this just yet. I'm kind of waiting until I flesh out the actual log a little bit more. Like, we're going to have a room going this way, and we'll probably have a room going this way. And actually, that's not technically a room, that's just an exit to the outside, but we're going to have some stuff over here, and I don't want to do anything with the floor just yet until I figure out what else I'm doing with different parts of this log. So we're kind of saving this for a little bit later. I know it doesn't look the greatest right now, and it doesn't look the most realistic as far as the inside of a log goes, but we're getting there. This is a big project, and it's going to take us a little bit of time. So I'm going to go ahead and start shaping this log out a little bit, and while we're doing this, one thing I wanted to talk to you guys about is doing another Q&A. It's been quite a while since I've done one. I think the last time that I did a Q&A was probably in the Special K episode, I think, the 1 in 2,000 subscriber special, and we're well past that now. We're over 6,000 subscribers at this point, and you know what? I actually don't need to put logs here because we're probably never going to see that. So I'm going to put dirt here, and if by chance we happen to dig it up and we see the logs later, we can always place them down. But I just don't want to waste logs in places that we're not going to see them, because they're very hard to come by, at least for the moment, until we get our tree farm built. But like I was saying, we're going to do a Q&A here soon. I'm not sure when we'll do that, but I want to go ahead and gather up some questions. So some questions that you guys can ask me, and some questions that you can probably try to avoid. Well, let me start with the ones that you can avoid first. You can probably avoid questions about texture packs because I answer those pretty frequently. Wow, can't talk. I answer them pretty frequently, and let me go ahead and answer it now just to avoid getting that question, and I hope you hear this and don't ask it anyway. But the texture pack we're using in this series is the BOO texture pack, and it is adapted by JackFrostMiner. Now, I'll ask him to see if he's okay if I put a link to that in the description, because I know it is his texture pack that he adapted, and I'm not sure if that's available anywhere else besides getting it from him directly. So let me chat with him and see if I can get approved to post that on my description as well. And in the single player series, which is already finished, we're going to start it back up when 1.2 releases. The texture pack that we've been using is the faithful 32 by 32, and I'm not sure if we're going to continue using that or not. Because I know they're putting new textures into the game. They're retexturing the entire game, basically. And I might want to see what is available when that comes out. But I'm not sure. Let me know if you guys have a particular texture pack in mind that you'd like to see for the reboot of the single-player series and what that is. So let me know. Some questions that you can ask me. Things about Minecraft. Anything that you'd like to know about Minecraft. How I get design ideas, how I get inspiration, how I stay inspired. Specific, suggestions for new series. Like, I've had some people suggest doing like a creative build kind of series, how to build different things in creative mode, which I've thought about doing, so I may end up doing that sometime down the road, and that could be anything from like an actual build to like a mechanical redstone contraption to anything you can think of in creative mode. And then other questions that you could ask are, what other games do I like playing, or really anything that you can think of, because I'm really happy to answer as many questions as I possibly can. Now, I can't promise that I'll be able to get to every single question, because whenever I do a Q&A, there are inevitably more questions than I can handle in one single episode. But please ask them anyway, because I love reading your comments, I love reading your questions and being able to think about them, and sometimes there's a really thought-provoking question that I never would have thought of to talk about. So go ahead and submit those, and I would appreciate it, and we'll do a Q&A as soon as possible. Now, give me a second. I'm going to do a little bit more detailing off camera, and then I'll show you what we've got when we've got a little bit more progress. Okay, so we've done quite a bit of work. I've actually done this overnight. I finished it yesterday, and I just needed to let it sit for a little bit because my eyes were tired, and I was tired, and I just needed to give it a break. So sometimes that's what I do with projects is I build something, and then I've looked at it for so long that I'm like, does this really look good? And then I let it sit for 24 hours, and I come back to it, and I'm like, yeah, I really like that. I'm glad I let that sit, because if I kept tinkering with it, I probably would have ruined it. So let's take a look at what we've done. We've got the interior all done, and I really like the way this looks. It looks pretty narrow, which is the feel that I was going for. Again, not sure what I'm doing with the floor just yet. I'm gonna wait a little bit on that. But as you can see, the log has been hollowed out, and there's even like a crack from when it fell down onto the ground. Part of the limb got cracked and probably fell off and stuff like that. So, and then we come out into the pathway into the open area. And if you look at it, I've got a couple of like branches coming off that have leaves still on them. So it gives a little bit more realism to this being a branch that's coming off of a tree. And I'm pretty happy with the result. So what I need to do now is I need to bring the rest of this area right here up to the same level as this right here, because we want it to all be on the same plane, and I may try to still leave this cave open a little bit in case, we want to utilize that later or go down in there or something like that. But we're going to try to level this whole area out, because this is the area that we're going to place down our redstone, and I haven't quite mapped out where it's going to go yet, but as soon as the land is flat, we'll be able to get a better gauge for that. So I'm going to go ahead and do this off camera, just because we're placing down a bunch of blocks, and you guys don't really need to watch this process. It's not very interesting to watch. So I'll come back when we are ready to start placing in the redstone, because that is the next thing on the agenda for today's episode. Give me just a second, and I'll be right back. Alright, so we've got the terrain all flattened out, and we're over at our house because it was dark and we needed to sleep real quick so that we wouldn't get attacked. But I want to show you how this pathway flows all the way through the log and on out to the other side where the tree farm is going to be. And eventually, again, we'll get this floor taken care of so it's one nice, smooth transition, but check that out. So we went ahead and did a basic path. We're going to detail this and decorate it up just like we did the path over on that side of the hill. But we're just doing this for now just as a placeholder so we know where we want to line up our tree farm. So here's what we're going to do. The redstone for this is actually fairly simple. We've got some repeaters, and we only need one comparator, but I have a few of them anyway. And, you know, it's always better to have more supplies than not enough, but we're going to go ahead and take these dispensers, and we're going to space them out, and we're going to put them off the path about 3 blocks back. Just like that. So 2 blocks in between the path, and on the 3rd block, place the dispenser, and then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and on the 6th block, place another one down, and then we'll do that 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's the last one. And then what we're going to do is we actually need to extend this pathway out a little bit because I didn't mean to do that. I did not allocate enough space here for our tree farm. It's a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. So we'll do it right here, and we'll end the pathway right there. I'm not sure how I'm going to end this path just yet, or if we're going to go on out here and build any more in the future. We may, but we're going to stay limited to this area for the time being. But now what we need to do is do this on the other side. 1, 2, and on the 3rd block, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Dispenser. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the last dispenser. So we've got them evenly spread on both sides, and the reason that we've done this is so that while we're going down the pathway, all we got to do is turn, chop a tree down, collect the wood. Turn, chop a tree down, collect the wood. Go forward, and then do the same thing all the way until we get to the end. So the redstone for this is going to be a little bit tricky, especially because we are going down the center. We're going to need to split the signal to go both directions, so I might need to do some of this wiring underneath the path. So let me show you one side how this is going to be wired up really quick, and then we will wire up the input off camera probably, because I need to figure out how I'm going to do that in the first place. So basically you just drop a repeater in the back of each of these dispensers, and yeah, we'll just stick to one side for now. And then we're going to run a redstone line all the way back just like this. And I'm not sure that we need to go. You know what? Yeah, let's take this back out. We're wasting 1 piece of redstone every time we cross a repeater. I don't think we need to even do that. So we're just going to go parallel with it, right next to it, and go all the way down. And I can't remember off the top of my head. This is such a noob thing not to remember. I can't remember what the signal length is before it stops. So what we're going to do is we're going to go right in the middle, right here, and throw down another repeater just for good measure, just so we're sure the signal reaches all the way to the end. So let me show you what's going to happen here. The way that this is going to be powered is we're going to have, where's my levers? Where did I put my levers? Oh, there they are in the top bar there. So we're going to go and place a lever down right here just temporarily to show you how this is going to work. And then we'll have 1 piece of redstone coming out of it, and just to make sure that powers good. And out of that redstone, we'll have a comparator. And out of this comparator, we're going to go just like this. I think. Oh, that's a repeater. That's why it didn't work. Okay. There's the comparator. That's the look that we're going for right there. So just a little circle or square or whatever you want to call this. Basically what this is going to do, it's going to send a signal into the comparator, and it's going to power this, and it's going to come back in and then power this off. But because this signal continues to come through, it's just going to flicker on and off. And the important thing to remember is to transfer this to subtract mode by tapping on it once, and then when that light comes on, that means you're in subtract mode. So watch. There you go. So basically, this is going to flicker like this and allow the repeaters to power the dispensers. Now, why is this one not flickering? I think this will still work, but we may need to move this input back. Well, this input's not going to stay here anyway, so we're going to have to move that anyway. But basically, what's going to happen is once there's bone meal inside here, and you know what? I've actually got some. Let's go ahead and give this a test. So we'll put some bone meal inside, and you can see that nothing is happening. Huh. Okay, you know what? This one may not work just because it's so close to the comparator. I'm not sure why that's not working, but I know the other ones are because they're flickering. So let's go and test out a different one. We'll test this out right here. We'll put some bone meal in the dispenser, and there you go. You've got all of the particles flying around, which means this is working. But as long as there's not anything in front of it, you can see it's not wasting any of the bone meal, so that we don't have to, you know, worry about any of our bone meal supplies depleting when this is on. We won't leave it on at all times just because that's a lot of redstone running at the same time. But watch, when you put a sapling in front of it, there you go. The magic happens and we've got a tree. And again, now that there's no sapling in front of it, it's not putting out any more bone meal. It'll wait until there's another sapling. So we can just go over here and chop this down. And there you go. We've got some wood. So once we've got all of these lined up and powered, this is going to be a lot of wood in a pretty short amount of time. And we can do this with pretty much any kind of tree except for our dark oak. I'm not sure how the dark oak ones are going to work just yet. We may still be able to put them down because they only require a 2x2 area. And we've given ourselves a 2x2 area, so maybe that'll still work, but we'll have to test it out. But I think every other tree will work with this kind of farm. This is the farm, or at least an adaptation of the farm that I built in my single-player series. The dispensers are a little bit closer together, which I think caused some problems once in a while with the trees growing. Let's go ahead and turn this off. It caused some problems every once in a while with the trees growing because they were so close together, but I think because I spread them farther out and I spread the parallel dispensers farther away, that should give us a little bit more breathing room in order to grow our trees. So I think this should be a working design, and we'll get it wired up here with a proper input, and then I'll show you how the whole thing works together. If you guys have a different tree farm design that I've never seen before, I would love to see it. I know there's one tree farm design that I think only works with oak trees. It's the one where you put a sapling down in front of a dispenser like this, and then it'll grow, and then pistons push it out of the way. I'm not sure if that works with other types of trees. I feel like I've tried it before and it didn't work, but if I'm wrong, correct me. I'd love to see any other kind of tree farm designs that you have, because this is the one that I know how to build, and I'm always open to seeing other kinds of designs that you guys might have. So put a link in the comment section, and I know links are automatically disabled by YouTube, but I will go approve those and check them out. Put a link in the comment section on any kind of tree farms that you've seen, and I would love to take a look at those. So let me wire this up real quick, and then we will give it a test run, and we should be about done, aside from maybe putting a little bit more design into this area. So I'll be right back. All right, are you guys ready to see what we've done? I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty proud of this little bit of redstone hiding skill right here. It took a little bit of work to hide it all, but here, let's check it out together. Here we go. Check this out. This is a dark oakwood tree, and I did a little bit of adapting. It's not the true form of a dark oak tree, but it was the one that was probably the most suitable for what we wanted to do. I've got the lever right here, and check this out. As soon as I flip this lever, it activates all of this redstone. Look at that. So let's go over here and shut this off and see what we did real quick. And before we take a look at the behind the scenes, let's come over here. Check out our little pathway here. We haven't done any of the actual path yet, but we've done a little bit of work off camera with this. This could probably still use a little bit more work, and I may change a little bit of it here and there. But we've got some rocks laying around, and we got some bushes, and we got some tall grass that make it look a little bit overgrown, and it hides all of that redstone. That's the most important part, because we don't want all of that to be exposed. Now, it's a little bit difficult to hide it all completely, just because it is above ground, as you can see. Let's run over here real quick. Yeah, all of this redstone is above ground, and we've done our best to hide it, but nobody is ever going to be back over in this direction, and in fact, we're going to put some trees over here. What my idea is for this is we want, since this is the tree farm, we want every kind of tree represented in this area, and even more so over here as well, because we'll see it from the pathway, and probably behind over in this direction as well. We're just going to fill this area with different kinds of trees. So let's go ahead and start doing that. I want to go ahead and place down, let's start with a couple of oak trees. We'll just bone meal that, and there you go. There's an oak tree. And we'll run over here and place another one. We're just going to be really random about where we're placing these. Let's put one right here. Oh, there we go. And there we go. There's another tree, and I don't know why this is doing this. This is a weird, really weird lighting bug. You have to place a block down to update that lighting. Okay, that's enough oak trees for now. Let's grab some birch and place one right here. There we go. And, man, again with the lighting glitch. So weird. Anybody know why that happens? I'm not exactly sure. I haven't heard anything about whether that's been fixed in the next update, but I would love to hear if you guys know. I am not able to access the beta, unfortunately. I've had a few of you guys say, hey, why don't you update to 1.2 and try that beta out? Well, I'm on iOS, so I am unable to access the beta, unfortunately. I would if I could, because it looks really cool. There's a lot of stuff in there that I'm missing out on that I wish I could access, but I can't. I'm just going to have to wait for the full version. And that's not quite parallel, but I think I want to move this forward one and have it right here. So we can do this with spruce trees. We can make it 4 around like that, and it makes a massive spruce tree. Oh, I love that. I love how it kind of covers this whole area. And let's fix the lighting bug again. Oh, that's so cool. We'll probably do a smaller spruce tree right here. And there we go. Not too bad. Let's see how this is looking so far. Oh, I love the overgrown look. You know what we should do? We should put, let's get a jungle. Oh, nope, that's acacia. Let's get a jungle tree out. Where is it? There we go. And we need to not use all 8 of our saplings, so we're only going to do one large one, but let's do a large jungle tree right here at the end of the pathway. And let's see how that looks. Oh, that's so cool. Let's back up and take a look here. Yep, I love it. I love it. And then let's take and do an acacia tree. Probably right around, let's destroy some of this grass here. Let's put one here. There we go. Oh man, I am just loving the look of this area. This is turning out way better than I imagined. The thing that we have to be careful of is to not put these too close to any of our dispensers, because if we do, then it's going to overlap and shoot. I think I just did that. I'm going to have to tear this tree down. That's okay. We can get a few more acacia logs and saplings from this, but this is going to interfere with our farm. That's the problem that we're running into here, is we're running out of space, and if I put a tree down here, it's going to go straight into that. So yeah, we can't put that there. This should be fine. I don't see why that wouldn't be okay, unless we decided to put a giant jungle tree here, which I don't think we're going to ever do, because this is like it's a tree farm for quick, rapid tree making. So a giant jungle tree on the dispensers doesn't seem like something we would do. Maybe we will, but maybe we'll just limit it to the first couple and then do smaller ones on the back half. So let me do a little bit more work off camera. We're running out of time here. I want to finish this project up and get this place looking all good, and then we will test this out one time together to make sure the farm is working, and then we should be set to go to stock up our store. All right, guys, let's take a look here real quick. We've got all of our trees in place, and this place is looking pretty fantastic. I'm really happy with how this turned out, and I did go ahead and decide to do another really tall jungle tree, and I'm really glad I did, because that looks awesome in the background there. It just looks like it's surrounded by all sorts of different types of trees, and that's exactly what it is. So let's go take a look over here. We went ahead and put down some saplings in front of our dispensers, and I only had enough bones on me at the current time to put 2 stacks of bone meal in each dispenser. So we're going to have to fill these up at some point, but let's go ahead and flip the switch and see what happens. Yes! Oh, that's perfect! Now, the only thing that I'm concerned about, let's go ahead and turn this off. The only thing I'm concerned about is this one right here. We need to be careful with this because it's about to bump into that dark oak. So if we wanted to put any dark oak trees here, we might accidentally run into this one, or spruce trees might run into it. Single jungle trees might be okay. Single oak will probably be okay. Birch will probably be okay. Acacia might be a problem here. So we're just going to have to be careful with the left-hand side dispensers, but the right-hand side are completely free to go anywhere we want to go with it. So let's call it a day. We've got a successfully tested and working tree farm, and I'm really happy with how this thing has turned out. Now, this path, again, it's still not done yet. I really want to detail it like we did with our other paths over there, but that's something I'm probably going to do in between episodes because I am completely out of time and over time for how much time I wanted to spend on this episode. So I think that's all we're going to do for now. Well, guys, that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It was a lot of fun to build this tree farm, and I'm really happy that we finally have one because I tend to use a lot of wood in my builds, and especially on the Unity server because my entire base is made out of logs. So it's going to take a really long time to gather logs if we don't have something like this. So I'm really glad that we have a tree farm now. It benefits us from a base building standpoint, and it will also benefit me from a shop standpoint because now I can stock my shop full of logs and planks and stairs and all of the wood supplies that we can think of. So this is, I'm just realizing this is episode 10 of the Unity series. We've got 10 episodes under our belt, and we've got quite a bit of work done. We have a basic starter base going with some, redstone contraptions, an auto smelter, a tree farm, and we've got some basic crop farms going, and we've got a shop open. So we've done quite a bit in these first 10 episodes, and I'm really looking forward to the future of this series. So if you guys have any ideas of what you want to see in the future on this series, please let me know in the comments section. I would love to hear your feedback. A lot of the things that I've built so far in the Unity series have been based off of subscriber suggestions, so please feel free to leave those comments. I really value them, and I would love to hear what you would like to see next. But for now, my name is BluJay, and I've got to fly on out of here. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.